This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the August the 15th, 2023 meeting. The debrief will highlight the key issues being discussed by Council and provide additional information where we can. August meeting starts out with a delegation from a local citizen bringing the need for an animal kennel or boarding service to the town's attention. Council agreed that it was a conspicuous absence in the community, and while it would not likely be an appropriate project for a town to undertake itself, their economic development officer would be very likely interested in having a conversation with anyone interested in developing the idea further.
And we have Mr. Blair Ferguson going to speak to us about boarding kennels. So the floor is yours, Blair.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen. The reason I'm here, I've been walking my dog quite a bit the last few months, and when I'm out walking around, I talk to other people that are out with their dogs or whatever, right? And one of the questions I always ask is if you have to go away on holidays or you end up staying in the hospital for a few days, what do you do with your pet? And the answer is always, well, look for the nearest available shelter and hope that they have a space, right? And the nearest one, I know there's one in Mendoza now, and there's one in Erickson and one in Brandon, but still, I think, talking to people, I feel that there's a need for one in town here. So, I don't know, I just came to you guys to see if the town would be interested in maybe doing something to put one up, maybe talk with High Life to see if they would go in on it, or Manitoba Health, because with the new hospital going up here, it's going to cover a larger area. So there's going to be people coming in from further away that may not, or short notice. What do you do on a short notice if you have to have somebody look after your pet for you? So I did put a questionnaire out, and if you want to take a few minutes to glance over the questions, I managed to collect about 70 signatures on this one. And then I had a couple Facebook posts that I put out that collected quite a bit of interest too. So I think there's a need for it here, but the best way I think for the town to determine that would be to put somebody out on your own Facebook page and just ask. Maybe have a public meeting or something like a public forum where members of the public could come and make a case of it. So I don't know. But I would like to do it myself. I don't have the funds to do that kind of thing, so. And the insurance and everything else would be like a killer, so.
Have you talked with our economic development officer, Mayor Andrew, about this yet?
No, I have not, no.
Because to me, this would be like a private enterprise.
Yeah.
And she's phenomenal at working with ideas.
Okay. One of the suggestions, I came down last week to talk to Jeff Braun about areas around town here that might be accessible or whatever, but he wasn't in. I was talking to Scott, I think it was.
Scott Quality?
Yeah. And he told me, he mentioned maybe out behind Rocky Mountain Equipment where the old municipal dump used to be, that area there, which is kind of close to where the hospital was going. So if anybody was in the hospital and, if they wanted to see their pet for a couple hours, they had access, they're allowed to be outside and to see their pet for an hour or so, you just take it over there and let them see it.
So just out of curiosity, like some of these other communities you mentioned, is that privately run or are those?
Yeah, they're privately run. They're privately run.
So the town.
But I know the one like Fort McMurray has a shelter. It's not really a kennel, it's a shelter, right? It's more like adoptions and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But it's municipally run, it's all non-profit and charity. So, something, I don't know. If you guys wanted to maybe look into it, I don't know. I'm just here to put a suggestion forward. And how many of you have pets at home? Just out of curiosity. Okay, and what do you do with your pet if you have to go away on holidays?
I have somebody hired to come in and feed them.
Yeah. Okay, but
Yeah.
what if they're not available then? What do you do?
Don't go. Or
So
take them with me.
if you could, yeah. No, I don't know. I just seem to think there's a need for it in town here. Might feel a need, I don't know. But, like I noticed that there's a lot of employees from High Life that are getting dogs and cats now. And if they want to go back to the Philippines on holiday to see family, then what do they do with theirs? Right? I first thought it was maybe 6 spaces for dogs, 6 spaces for cats. That might be a little bit much, but I'm pretty sure even if you had the 6 spaces available, you'd probably find that they'd be busy most of the time.
I think it's a great idea for a business for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't there one of these just southeast of Neepawa, a couple of miles?
What's that?
I thought there was one southeast of Neepawa, a couple of miles.
Turner's used to have one,
Yeah,
but I don't know if they're still doing that anymore, I don't think, are they? Like, I know there's that TNR Rescue, but that's cats only, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not, yeah. But just a spot for, like, somebody wants to go away on holidays or something, they can book a spot to leave a dog for a week or so and have it taken care of. And for people in the hospital, it's a lot less stress knowing that your pet is being looked after while you're being looked after, so. I don't know, it's just a thought, I just figured I'd bring it to you guys and you can run with it and,
It's certainly a need.
yes.
It is a need. Yeah.
It's good too that you're highlighting the need, because I can tell you, I struggle with finding a kennel for my dog all the time, so. And you can make good money, so I definitely see someone taking it on as a business.
But it has to be properly zoned, like, I mean, there's going to be zoning issues for that. So that has to be researched.
It's only permitted in the agricultural rural zone. It's a conditional use in the industrial heavy and the AR1 and ARC. It is not permitted anywhere in residential or the commercial central, commercial highway or light industrial. So there are zoning issues.
What she said.
okay.
There's areas for it. It just has to be
There's areas,
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd definitely say next step for you, Larry, would be to contact Marilyn and make an appointment with her.
Is the economic development officer?
Yeah.
Okay,
Give you good direction.
okay.
You know, the group of people who have signed there, are obviously animal owners,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they can form a group, limited shareholders or whatever, and do a group effort to put an entity together.
Okay. All right,
Just need somebody like yourself to direct it.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I should probably just go through the dog park association too and get them.
Yeah?
That's a good idea. That's a good idea too.
Yeah. So I know, like, I posted that questionnaire that you had around there, like, I posted that on their Facebook page and like it had over 100 likes on it for people saying that. The like is the same as a digital signature now, according to the courts apparently, so.
Yeah.
You know? Okay,
All right, well, thank you very much, that's good.
okay. Well, thank you for giving me a bit of time here.
Yeah.
Yep. I think if you guys wanted to just put something up on your Facebook page and just ask about it too, see if there's people wanted, if there was a need for it in town, they could give you an answer too. Okay, thank you very much, folks. All right. Have a good evening, everybody.
You too.
In council reports, both Councillor Parrott and Councillor Sisley highlight the success of the Children's Business Fair, which saw 20 young people set up business stalls and brought in over $3,500 in overall sales. Councillor Kosenchuk reports on the success of the Hand, our Home Assistance of Neepawa District barbecue, and Councillor Sisley also reports on the good reception for the first Glow Swim and the postponed Rec Barbecue, which allowed the Recreation Department to highlight many of their ongoing projects. Other reports include the Yellowhead Center and the County Courthouse, as well as the Finance Committee, which is starting to discuss the 2024 budget.
Councillor
Mine's
Kosenchuk.
fairly short.
Okay.
Yesterday, the Hand organization had their fundraiser barbecue and the draw for the 50-50. We started the 50-50 ticket selling on July 1st, and we had an amazing turnout yesterday. It was really, really good. The winner of the 50-50, the share for her was $1,434, and that was won by Doris Bonafoy. She won 50-50. Total in hot dog sales and donations was $1,981. It was a really good event. Thanks to everyone who came out to support such a great cause. Huge thank you to the co-op for donating hot dogs, chips, drinks, and to Merv Bone, Blair McLaughlin, and Ron Nordstrom for the awesome entertainment. It was a really good event. A lot of people showed up. And a great fundraiser. Really good to support him.
Excellent, yeah. Yeah, that makes for a nice turnout.
It's really good.
Okay, well, I don't know if CEO is going to talk about this, but yesterday, between Jeff Braun, Scott Pollock from our planning office, and Steve Nelson-Chisholm, they went through the North Cypress Langford zoning bylaws as they're doing a review and they're going to have a new one built. And it affects Neepawa because we are enclosed on 3 sides by North Cypress Langford. And then going through the document, 6 pages of concerns were created, and not concerns that things are being put in the wrong spot, but just that there needs to be compatibility with their new zoning bylaws to align with what is currently existing and should be existing in the parameters of Neepawa. So it was very well presented and very well received by North Cypress Langford, and they are now moving forward and jointly working on the document in unison to make it work out nicely. So that was good, and I really congratulate our staff on that. Economic Development Officer Marilyn Crew organized a children's business fair, and there were lots of little supporters on that, as well as NACO. And they had 20 tables set up there, and it was an amazing thing, and I bought a bracelet. And one of the groups, I might have this wrong, but one of the groups sold out like pretty well right away with whatever they're selling. It was dream catchers. Another group sold over $400 worth of stuff right away. But it was around $3,500 worth of stuff that was sold, and it was an incredible event. They even, there was a marketing executive in from Brandon who was invited to go there and tour around, so that executive is coming back next week and having coffee with our economic development officer. So that was a good win-win for Neepawa. And I went on a steak date, just so everybody knows. 4-H judging, it was freaking awesome. Some of the kids I actually taught, but 4-H is this organization. It was cattle, and there was like 4 days up there, but part of it was feed meat. And there was 12 groups and teams from little kids right up to adults, and they provided meals, and there were, I think, probably 8 judges or 6 judges or something, and we taste tested 3 meals, their presentation, the whole bit, and all I can say is they fed me well, the food was phenomenal, but what those kids learned and the interaction between those kids, that 4-H program is phenomenal. So I just wanted to give kudos to that. And one of the leaders is our Dallas Robertson, who works for the town board. So I'm done.
Okay. Anyone else? Councillor Sisson?
I have quite a bit. There's been a lot that happens when you only meet once in a month. Glow Swim, which was last Saturday night, was a huge success. There was over 170 kids that ended up at the pool. They were walking down there just beforehand. Walking down there, they were lined up out to the street, which was awesome to see. And they were so excited. There was 300 glow sticks that were in the pool at the start of the swim. And at the end, they were thinking the lifeguards were going to have to go in and get a whole pile of them. There was 8 glow sticks left in the pool. So the kids enjoyed them and took a haul home. So it sounds like the feedback from it was amazing, and the possibilities for future years is going to be we had the recreation barbecue. We were finally able to have it on August 1st. It was a lot of fun, thanks to Councillor Parrott and him drawing people in, and Mayor Headley. It was a lot of fun. We were inside, got to talk. Daryl did a great job talking about all of the rec that's been going on in town, what was implemented from the recreation master plan and the community wish list. So it was great to celebrate that with everyone. Murray touched on the Children's Business Fair. There was 20 youth businesses involved in that, and the exact number was $3,727.25 is what was spent at the kids booths, and well received. I think it'll be probably double in size next time everyone has one of those. It was, and the kids were great. I know Yellowhead is very interested in having Hadley Ferguson do a cotton candy that we can sell out of there. So that poor girl. Between the lineup for the Co-op burgers, which thanks for Co-op for being there, the burgers were amazing again. But between the lineup for the burgers and the lineup for Hadley, she went 3 hours straight making cotton candy, and she would not let her mom do it because it was supposed to be her because it was a children's business fair. So it was priceless, but it was great. Plans are underway for the 2023 What's the Big Idea event on October 12th at the Legion. There are cash prizes for your good business ideas, so please contact Marilyn at the town office to learn more. What's the Big Idea is free for the public to attend as well. So if you want to learn about new businesses in the area, please mark October 12th on your calendar and head down to the Legion. There is a babysitting course that Nicole is back. She was back on Monday, Nicole Cooper, our rec director. She is off her mat leave now. So she's already planning stuff. So Tuesday, October 3rd, there is a babysitting course that you can register at the town office for. Handyman, Feel Good Day is coming up on September 19th. This is a huge fundraiser. Neepawa Gladstone Co-op has selected Handyman as one of the participants in it. So I believe it's 10 cents a liter that is donated to the charity, to the organization. So please come out for the barbecue that day and fuel up while you're there. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Sicily. Councillor Nadeau.
Maybe I should have went first because how do you talk? No, a couple of my meetings, because it's summer, they got canceled just because a lot of members are farmers, and you know, it's understandable. You've only got so many days of good weather to get out there, and especially with hay and stuff. But one meeting that I did attend recently was on July 25th. It was the Yellowhead meeting, and just a couple points. The plant has started, so you might already see that the ice is being made, getting it ready to go. Our director of operations there, Lindsay DeHolis, she has moved on to some other things. So we have a new director, and the new director, publicly I can probably say, congratulations to a fellow councillor, Yvonne Sisley. And they ran a day camp at the Yellowhead this summer, so they had 6 weeks of day camp. So that was really well received from those that did it. And the only other highlight to really inform the rest of council about is the fact that the Yellowhead board has decided not to pursue leasing out the canteen. So we're gonna continue operating the canteen ourselves and try some new models maybe that some people have some ideas with. So those are the highlights from our meeting.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Nadeau. Councillor Gerard.
August 2nd, the Neepawa County Courthouse, we met. It was to discuss emergency repairs for the facility. We had to get motions passed because we are right now working on one of 3 air conditioners that's running the building right now. We are also going to be exploring some short-term fixes on heat. We've had a couple instances last year where we lost water. When we lost water, that created problems with the boiler system, and it had us restarting boilers and some fairly costly repairs. So we've engaged a couple people to look at the long-term repairs on that. On top of that, we've had some discussions regarding the 2024 budget were discussed as well, and how cost sharing that could look going forward for the county courthouse for 2024. So.
Manager of Operations Denisa Kay updates council on the progress with the old RCMP building, which is being converted into the new home for an LPN program through Assiniboine Community College. Both interior and exterior framing are in progress, as well as shingling, and it is expected to be ready in time for the January 2024 intake of the nursing program. Elsewhere in town, construction is proceeding at Park Lake, including soil compaction and concrete pouring, and crews are still busy in town patching roads and sidewalks. When asked about the use of water resources to water the athletic fields at the flats, Sakay assures council that they monitor the availability of water and will dial back the watering when necessary, but so far levels have been more than sufficient.
Thank you. So today, I have a bunch of meetings, but one of them was a site construction meeting for the old RCMP building, which is a new training facility. Everyone can see that they've started the exterior framing, roof wrappers came in and they've got that wrapped up. So it's kind of a semi-waterproof stage right now. And they'll be scheduling shingling in a short coming days, I guess, once they have some other electrical items narrowed down. The interior's framing, like I said, is coming along really good. I think Ruffin is supposed to be optimistically late this week, early next week. Like I said, it's moving along. It's nice to see a building coming shape out of it. So. The Park Lake project also had that construction meeting today. Things are moving along there as well. They should have completed the deep soil mixing. So the deep keyway that's going well below the dam structure. That should be wrapped up today, and the clay compaction, the internal key is being packed and working its way up, so that's coming along. They should also be pouring concrete in the first section this week, if not next week, so the weather holds out nice. Massive pour for one section will be a full day of pouring, so it's a lot of concrete going in that place. It's quite neat to see, as they have to have cooling lines and temperature sensors and everything else integrated into the pour. Lagoon will be having a meeting shortly on that one, so I don't really have an update, but from the last site visit we did there was good progress on the way, so I'm excited to see the next progress during our next meeting there and see how things are moving along. Residents, we have noticed that locally we've seen a lot of patching happening around town. Our contractor is still working and still bouncing around, as is our concrete contractor. They're coming and going, working on some of our sidewalk repairs around town, correcting some of our approaches and utility cuts. So everything's coming along.
Okay, any questions on today?
I was just going to touch on, it's great information you've provided on Park Lake. And for the residents that want to see what's going on, the place they can view it is from the old lookout on the west side of the, by the bird sanctuary, not by walking on a lake bed. I'm getting tired of seeing residents walking out, cycling out to go see that area. And especially now that the construction crews are working longer hours.
It's a tremendously busy site. It's also a very, very dirty site. The site has been used as a garbage dump for decades. On the exterior bank, all that material is mixed in. There's glass everywhere. There's steel sticking up everywhere. It's incredibly dangerous. Please do not go down there. Again, lots of contractors working late hours, 7 days a week sometimes. So there's no guarantee that someone's not working there. Please stay off the site.
Yeah, there is a great place to view where the spillway is going to be, and it's right by the old bird. It's right by the bird sanctuary.
Yeah.
And you can walk there and you can see full southern side of where that's going to be, and it's perfectly safe. The other one I would just question on, and I was mentioned by some of the people that are using the Hillcrest area, the beach volleyball courts, complaining that it's severely compacted. I wasn't sure if there's an opportunity that it could get loosened up again. It's more like a paved pad right now. When I went out and walked it myself, it's if it could be tilled or anything, it's not beach volleyball anymore.
I'll request that Matthew go out there with tiller meeting if I work it up.
But your courts are being used a lot, which is great to see.
For business owners in town, or perhaps even residents who have asphalt areas in their business, do you have a contact that they might use for the Zenith paving that's in town, or whoever
They just have to look up the profile, and they may not be able to use them. Like I said, they're getting pretty bucked up already. But yeah, either profile or that have to be the 2 local contractors that we're utilizing this year.
Denny, I had a couple of residents asking about watering the flats during the, such a dry spell, and that my comment was, that they have to keep them in shape for the kids for fall sports and that are coming up here right away. But I thought I'd just double check with you.
Yeah, that's it. And we also monitor our water usage internally if we see anything we're struggling to make water. When we note that we see high resident usage and then also internal usage through either businesses or industry, at that time we dial back, but we still feel we've got sufficient water that we can enable us to fill water green spaces.
CAO Colleen Sanchishan gives Council the good news that we will be receiving an increase to our policing grant to help with increased costs in the new contracts, an amount that was not budgeted for. Overall, a 28% funding increase was received across the province, and Neepawa also benefited from our increased population in the last census. We also received word that a water rights application sent back in 2011 was finally approved thanks to the revised model of the aquifer we draw from, and we are now able to proceed with the proposed exploration.
So this was a nice little piece of correspondence on July 26th. I'm pleased to provide you with additional details on provincial funding to support public safety in the town of Neepawa for 2023-24. This year, Manitoba Justice will be providing increased urban policing grant funding to municipalities. Manitoba government has committed additional funding to support municipalities impacted by increased policing costs resulting from rising rates of crime and inflationary pressures. The additional investment reflects a revised per capita calculation aligned with the 2021 census data and an overall 28% funding increase. So Neepawa will be eligible to receive in total $818,120 of urban policing grant funding in 2023-24. This amount reflects an increase of $299,937 over previous years and builds on other government initiatives, including the policing and public safety strategy and violent crime strategy to support law enforcement and improve public safety in our province. So that was a welcome increase, which we did not budget for, and takes a lot of pressure off the cost of revamping the old RCMP building to create that training center. As much as we could afford it, and we were able to do so, this was nice to see coming into the budget this year for sure.
On top of the pay increase and the new body cameras that are coming in.
Exactly. So it was nice.
And water, Manitoba environment, climate drainage, water rights.
So this is going to seem a little weird, and this is correct. On September 29th, 2011, an application actually went into water rights. Mr. Sake actually filed it to explore for a water supply located on the Northwest 2213-14 divert groundwater for municipal distribution purposes. And by doing that, a request was made for an additional 250 acre-feet for the town of Neepawa and the Lower White Muddy subbasin of the White Delta aquifer. This letter, years later, is to inform us that they found out that there is sufficient water allocation available at this time to begin development of that project. Additional water allocation is being made available on selected subbasins of the ADA as part of a pilot project based on updated aquifer modeling work. We have 30 days to respond to receiving this letter and suggest that we would like to achieve that water allocation. So there is a resolution here from council, but we want to make sure we got it in there. So we did go ahead on your behalf and say that we'll take it. But if you pass the resolution in case they want something official. So this is kind of nice because, as you all know, with our growth here, we have been, as part of our planning processes for anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 years out, looking at if the aquifer were to dry up, where do we source our water? So we have reached out and we have been in contact with Portage, as was done in previous years. This kind of lessens the necessity to do that. And actually, one of the councillors in North Cypress Langford yesterday at the table had mentioned that the report had been completed on the Assiniboine aquifer and that they did find out that there was sufficient water to proceed with some of these allocations. So I'm asking support for a resolution to support what we already did.
Well, it's very exciting for us to be able to see this, and congratulations on your 12-year application. I'm glad we got 30 days to respond.
How many kids have you had since?
All of them.
It's pretty good pre-planning for it. Okay, the motion reads, whereas in September 2011, Neepawa submitted an application for water rights license to explore for water supply located in Northwest 221314 to divert groundwater from municipal distribution purposes, and requested an additional 250 feet for the town of Neepawa on the Lower White Mud East Sub-Basin of the Assiniboine Delta Aquifer, and whereas Neepawa was notified on July 2023 by the Drainage and Water Rights Licensing Branch of Manitoba Environment and Climate that there is sufficient water allocation available to proceed with this application, and has requested that the town of Neepawa confirm their interest in proceeding. Therefore, be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa hereby acknowledge the notification regarding an increased water allocation and formally confirms their intent to proceed. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott and seconded by Councillor Pottinger. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Finally, Council voted down a proposed zoning bylaw. In this case, the developer decided not to proceed with their housing project, and Council felt it would be better to revert the land back to its previous zoning designation rather than go forward with rezoning, thus limiting its future potential uses.
Okay, Colleen, maybe I'll get you to explain this a little bit.
So zoning bylaw 3220-23 was a bylaw that was put forward by the name of a fellow named Philip Stiklicki, who was looking to create a development on a parcel of land that was west of Neepawa Plumbing and Heating. As he proceeded through that development, he actually took this development to second reading of the bylaw. And that's where we sat. Prior to third reading, we required as a council the negotiation of a development agreement. More recently, Mr. Stiklicki has decided to not proceed with this development. And what has happened now is we have this bylaw sitting on our desk in limbo now, whether it should proceed or not. My recommendation to council is that if you proceed with third reading on this bylaw, you are altering this piece of property from light industrial to go to mobile modular home status, which takes away our ability in the future to plan and register as caveat on title a development agreement under the local authority, the provisions in the Planning Act. And within the Planning Act, when you create developments in areas where there is no infrastructure and where there is no recreational opportunities or parks or the various amenities that exist in other areas of town, you can negotiate with a developer to either partially pay for those things or contribute somehow to those things. We did not get that far with Mr. Stiklicki. He just decided to withdraw. So I guess the recommendation of staff here is that you defeat this resolution, leave it as industrial light, and should a further application come forward in the future, whether it be modular, whether it be an industrial use, no matter what the use is, let it go forward based on the merits of a different application. Then it still gives you the opportunity to negotiate under the Planning Act for an agreement that would satisfy all the provisions of making sure infrastructure was there, and that the benefiter of that infrastructure paid proportionately to that infrastructure. So I'm asking for you to defeat.
Okay, so any other questions of Colleen? That's clear? Okay, so the motion reads, be it resolved that bylaw number 3220-23 being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to amend zoning bylaw 3184-18 be now read for the third time and passed. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Sisley. All those in favor? Opposed? And the motion is defeated.
Also covered were the financial report and an offer to purchase a lot in the industrial park. You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. If you have comments, questions, or topics we might be able to shine some light on, please get in touch with us. The phone number is 204-476-2639, or you can email us at nactvnews@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.